Welcome to Midnight Movie Talk early. We're going early because SAG just wrapped. We have a huge night on tap. Welcome into the MMT Studios live from Los Angeles. Eric Weber here as we talk about SAG. And one of the stories we are going to discuss here momentarily is what the hell happened to Ant-Man 3? Not 2. It says 2. It's 3 this weekend. We'll get to that in a minute. But I do want to get straight into SAG Awards reacts here on this Sunday night. And we just saw the ceremony, and it was broadcast by Netflix on their YouTube channel, which is a little strange. But I got to say, I liked it. No commercials, right? It gave the chance for people around the world to watch the SAG Awards, which is a good thing, because in the past it was on TNT, TBS, and the folks overseas couldn't watch. So tonight, through the magic of YouTube, the same thing you're watching right now, you can watch the SAG Awards. Let's talk about the winners and the losers tonight, because there are losers and there are winners. There's no question about it. And when we look at the winners here, I think the first big winner tonight is Michelle Yeoh. Clearly, it's a race between her and Cate Blanchett for Oscars. We pull up awardsace.com and we look at who I have in the lead now for Best Actress. It is Michelle Yeoh because she now has SAG. Why is SAG more important than BAFTA, which Blanchett has? Both voting groups are a big part of Oscar, the voting membership group, right? But when you look at SAG, it's the number one voting block. Actors in SAG for Oscar. Therefore, Michelle Yeoh right now is going to win for EEAAO over Blanchett. Now, you guys know I do not love this. I am a bigger fan of Cate Blanchett and Tar. I think it's a once-in-a-decade performance. When you look at Cate Blanchett and Tar, you have to go back over a decade to get to a winner of Best Actress who can go head-to-head with Cate Blanchett in a ring and beat her, or at least give her a fight. And no offense to Michelle Yeoh, who I think is very strong in a film that I don't love as much as a lot of people do, but when you have a once-in-a-decade performance, as you do with Blanchett in Tar, you take that all day, every day. So that's my pick, but right now it looks like Yeoh's going to win. Let's go to Best Actor. And we now have, again, a front runner there as well, and it is very clearly Brendan Fraser. We went back and forth. We are vacillating between Fraser and Butler. But right now, based on the SAG win here tonight, we are going to take Brendan Fraser for the win. With SAG, he also has a Critics' Choice win. Butler has BAFTA and Golden Globe. So it's a very similar situation to what we're looking at for Best Actress. It's a 51-49 race in both situations. And right now, the 51 belongs to Yeoh in Actress and Fraser in Actor. And it's also about Fraser's comeback story. It always was. So when you put these two head-to-head, for me, it's going to be Butler. But if you're going to buy into the story, Hollywood loves a comeback. Hollywood loves a resurgence tale. And here we are with Brendan Fraser, and that is why he will win. So now we have kind of settled two of the races. The interesting part about tonight is that we came into this thinking that Best Actress was called. It was over. Best Supporting Actors make that. But we look here, and Angela Bassett did not win tonight. It was Jamie Lee Curtis out of nowhere. No wins in any of the major precursors coming into tonight's SAG Awards. But even with the win here tonight, Jamie Lee Curtis, we are going to take Angela Bassett for the win. A lot of people are saying it's going to be Carrie Condon. She has the BAFTA win. I am going to stick with Angela Bassett. I'm sticking with her. It is a three-way race, no question about it, between Bassett, Curtis, and Condon. I'm going to go Bassett. A lot of you are probably going to go Condon. Some of you Curtis, based on the win here tonight from SAG. But I'm going to stick to my guns, and I'm going to take Bassett in supporting, even though she loses tonight. Let's go to supporting actor. And this is a lock. It's been a lock. Nothing has changed. Ke Huy Quan is going to win this. And when you look at the wins, he has everything but BAFTA, right? Quan has everything but Barry Keoghan won BAFTA. It's going to be Quan for the win for Best Supporting Actor at Oscar. No question about it. And for ensemble here tonight, the film that is right now the prohibitive favorite to win Best Picture. It is Everything Everywhere All at Once, with the win, not just tonight in SAG, but also last night at PGA. Why was that important? Why was the win at PGA so important? Because this was the first time that we deployed a true preferential ballot, which is exactly the same voting system the SAG uses. And therefore, it really looks like EEAAO is going to win Best Picture. I'm not going to be thrilled with that. You guys know I'm not thrilled with that. But, I mean, the facts are the facts. I'm going to take it over Top Gun Maverick. It's not over, but it is largely over for EEAAO for Best Picture. We saw it last year with Coda when it went PGA, and then it goes on to win Best Picture. The last time, though, you go back to 2019, we had 1917 winning PGA, and then Parasite winning Best Picture. But here's the difference, though. Parasite did have SAG, right? It had the ensemble. So that's where we are right now. That's the landscape of the Oscars. We get into questions of that in a moment, but I do want to get to the top story here tonight. And we just wanted to fire through the SAG Awards and the PGA and get to what I am excited about tonight. What the hell happened to Ant-Man 3? Forgive the graphic. Actually, it's the wrong graphic. Forgive that too. What happened to Ant-Man 3? This thing suffered the biggest drop in MCU history at minus 69.7%. We round up to minus 70. Minus 70% for Ant-Man 3 Quantumania. So let's break down the reasons why Ant-Man Quantumania fell so precipitously this weekend in weekend number 2. Number 1, and I know you guys, the comments are going to come flying in now. I know this. You're going to be like, of all the things that you want to start with, you're going to start with this. I am going to start with this, and I'm going to tell you why. This weekend, you could have built an ark here in Los Angeles. There were so much, we had nonstop. I mean, I'm talking about torrential rain, starting on Friday all day, all the way through Saturday. Stop for a minute, and then it came back. And today, like 49 degrees and cloudy. The weather here sucks, and LA works on weather. Now, I understand the world doesn't revolve totally around LA, but it's the number one movie market. So if you are going to point to one of the reasons why Ant-Man Quantumania fell 70% this weekend, you absolutely have to include epic rainfall here in LA, the kind of rainfall that keeps people home. It was so bad on Friday, I wasn't able to go to the Hollywood Critics Awards. That's how bad it was. The flooding, did you check out Twitter? There were cars stuck in the flooding right down the street from me at the Burbank Airport. That's how bad it was. So if people are not making their way across town to award shows, they're certainly not going to make their way down to the movie theater to watch a film. That is reason number 1 why Ant-Man dropped 70%, the rainfall in LA. Number 2, bad word of mouth. We saw the B Cinema score last weekend. We got that and we said that's not good. But for the first weekend, it held together, opened at 120 million for 4 days, 105, 106 for the 3. But the problem was, and what we're seeing here with MCU, and it ties directly into number 3, the MCU fatigue is real. And anyone who is still super interested and locked into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they are running out to see the movie Thursday night, Friday, possibly Saturday, maybe Sunday. They're going to see it opening weekend. And then we're going to get these drops. We've always seen these drops of 60% or more. Thor was about this. All these were about this range. This is slightly higher, and I'm telling you guys, it's all of these reasons, but one of the big reasons is number 1, the rainfall in LA. It is. But back to MCU fatigue. So, there are too many shows, too many movies. There's too much Marvel. People are OD'd on it. They want something different. Even I do, although I enjoyed Ant-Man 3 way more than most of you. I think it's entertaining. But a lot of you are pissed off about Modoc, however you say it. And you don't like what they did with that character. Those kind of decisions have ramifications. And you're seeing that here in weekend number 2, and the buzz is just off this film. It's really almost a toxic situation here for Ant-Man 3. You're looking at everyone's piling on. I mean, the story is the biggest drop in MCU history at minus 70%. That's hard. That's bad PR. That's the kind of PR that gets someone that was on the fence to not get off. You just not go. We're off the fence and we're not going. Okay, that's reason number 3. Number 4 is an interesting one, and you guys know there's a lot of people here on YouTube that love to make this their entire mission, right? What is number 4? You probably are thinking about it now. You're going, what do a lot of YouTubers do that talk about things and say everything is woke? But the reality is this. There is a war against, quote, and I definitely like to use the quotes on woke. What does that mean? That means that there is a significant portion of the population here, specifically here in the United States, that is tired of being preached to, okay, about the, quote, wokeness of certain things. And I don't think Ant-Man has the issue there. I don't think there's anything in Ant-Man 3 that really feels forced, and I don't like to use the word, but you know what I mean. An agenda, okay? No, but Disney is in the crosshairs. And when you're in the crosshairs, the way Disney is, there are people that would normally support a film that will not support it because they don't want to support Disney. There is a significant portion of the population out there who feels that way. Therefore, it is one of our 5 reasons. People that are boycotting Disney products because they're not happy with what they are doing. We saw it with Lightyear. We saw it, certainly with Strange World. You talk about a bomb, Strange World and Lightyear, both of those. Those aren't performing like typical Disney animation films, Pixar, Disney animation. Why? Because of the war against woke. That is absolutely one of the reasons here. I'm going to get to your comments in a moment about this because I know this is the big story. We have SAG. We have so much to talk about. But number 5 of why Ant-Man 3 did not perform well in weekend number 2 is the cocaine come down. Because of Cocaine Bear getting crazy high. You took a bunch of young male moviegoers and put them in Cocaine Bear versus Ant-Man 3 weekend number 2. That is another big component to Ant-Man failing in its second weekend. Cocaine Bear ends up over $20 million. This thing came in at $23-24 million. That is a very good number for this film that was really projected to be somewhere between, let's say, 13 to 17. So that is, if we go with 15 and split that, that's plus 8 million. That is a big outperform for a film like this. And in Universal, man, what kind of year are they having? They're having a stellar year. Megan, go back to Violent Night. Now you've got this, Cocaine Bear. They are hitting on these strange films. All 3 of those films share one thing in common, right? They're schlocky films. They're goofy films. And all 3 have outperformed. So look for Hollywood to make more of these kind of films. I saw Beyond Fest tweet about that. When you look at these films, you're looking at, cheap films. I mean, I don't know what the budget on this film was. If the budget on Cocaine Bear was above 10 million, I'll be literally speechless because other than the CG, there's no reason for this movie to cost shit. It's got nothing expensive in it. Doesn't look good. I don't think it's a good movie, but they already are at $24 million after a weekend. The word of mouth on this is going to be bad, though. We know that. We looked at the Rotten Tomato number. It's all the way down to about 70. The audience score 75. That's coming down. There's a lot of heat on this film. People are coming out and not happy with it. In fact, my video I just did the other night is doing really well because a lot of people agree with me. Cocaine Bear is horrible. If you have not watched that, go watch that stream. So that's our setting the table here tonight, and we will continue with your comments now. Anything you want to do, we get into it, and we start tonight with a super chat, Lonely Lizard. Thank you so much. Here we go. Don't think the MCU's in trouble, Eric. Guardian of the Galaxy 3, Deadpool 3, Secret Invasion, Loki Season 2, Daredevil Born Again, all be good. They got to slow down. That's the key. All the other stuff, yes, is good. These are good product that's coming. Strong product, compelling product. But there's still too much. You guys know this. If I did MMT every single night, you guys, listen, there's a lot of people that already argue MMT once a week or twice is too much MMT. But if I did it every single night, you guys would be like, I don't care. It's every night he's on. Forget it. The fact that we focus on Sunday night, this is our night, the flagship MMT show, including this week's unveiling of our shill of the week. It's coming. But if we did it every night, you guys would be like, okay, that's enough. I'm not going to watch. I've had enough of this dude. And granted, trust me, I understand how you feel if you feel that way after one or two nights. But too much Marvel product means you get tired of it. There's a reason that musical acts disappear for a while, right? They have go back to the 80s. When I was a kid, you'd have these bands that would have a song every, month or two and another album every year. You get tired of them. The bands that had the resurgences were the ones that took a year off and then came back. A little bit of downtime, then back. Taylor Swift, right, white hot, disappears. There she is. There she goes. You need to have a cooling off period. Marvel needs to have a cooling off period. And this is a lot of product. And the other thing that we have not discussed with Marvel, and it ties into a lot of the things we already discussed about Ant-Man 3 and why it has fallen so precipitously this second weekend, is that when you ask viewers to watch a bunch of other stuff in order to watch the film that you're going to see right then, you're asking a lot of people that just want to go and be just transported to one world for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and not have to do any homework, like Cocaine Bear, like Megan, like Violent Night, all those films we mentioned from Universal. You just go in, and that's it. I don't have to watch other shows. I don't have to be connected to some kind of universe. So when you go further and further out on sequels, right? So now we're Ant-Man 3. So every time you build into another sequel, you are bringing your audience and squeezing it down. So the fact that Ant-Man 3 did better than 1 and 2 is a great sign. The fact that it's falling second weekend is not, but I think what we're starting to see here with the MCU, more so than almost any film, is that you have to run out. You got to see it today, not tomorrow, not 2 days later. You got to see it opening night, Thursday night or Friday, because everyone's talking about it. Other films like Cocaine Bear, you don't have to run out and see on Thursday. You could see it Saturday. You could see it Monday. The movie's not going to be ruined. But if you're going to see Marvel, you want to be the first one to check it out so that you don't have things spoiled for you. You don't have the end credit scenes ruined because you waited. And I think that's the other reason we're going to continue to see these massive, big first weekends and then the huge cliff dive in weekend number 2. Look at Avatar 2. It did not open like we expected, but it didn't do MCU drop because not everybody felt like they had to run out to see Avatar 2 weekend number 1. They said, it's not that important that we see it right because people aren't going to ruin. What are you going to ruin about Avatar 2? Nothing. There's nothing in that movie. Oh, what a boring movie. But there's nothing that you're going to have ruined by, someone going to see it early. So that's the difference between MCU and Avatar and a lot of these films that are standalones. Standalone films are going to have better holds. It just absolutely is the case. Lonely Lizard continue with you because, of course, the Super Chat, I owe you more comments. I also feel Disney and Marvel Studios needs to delay Blade and Daredevil on Disney Plus release in 2025 once Deadpool 3 becomes R-rated movie. More Avengers 5 back here. Listen, the bottom line is, Lonely Lizard, I got to say, everything you're saying here is the takeaway is this. Space things out more. We do not need 3 Marvel movies a year. possibly two. Remember, Pixar would have one a year, then they started to do two. Now it seems like they're back to one. If they have two, they space them out. You want to have one in February, one in November. One in February, one in November, or March, November. You want a big spread on that. You do not want, this year we're going to get, obviously Marvel's got pushed, but we have Guardians coming up next. We got three, and it's one after another. Last year, Strange, Thor, Wakanda, it's too much. Less is more. It's like I preach all the time about every single film I watch, including the 95-minute Cocaine Bear. It's too long. So many films. Okay, every film could be condensed. Every single film that we watch nowadays could be brought down by minimum 5, 10, 15 minutes. We have a major problem in Hollywood of studios not knowing where to cut, including Cocaine Bear. It is too damn long. Tim, we'll skip around here. We'll do some SAG. We'll do some Ant-Man. Whatever you want to do. It's comment time. Whatever you want to do. Tar 1-0. Tim, welcome to the channel, by the way. Yeah, we knew it wasn't going to win anything but Best Actress. It doesn't win. I'm super bummed. I said at the top of the show, I'm saying it again now. You don't disregard a once-in-a-decade performance like Cate Blanchett's. You do not do that. If you're doing it based on merit, based on what is the right thing to do with your vote, you are picking Cate Blanchett all day, every day, and there's really nothing more to discuss on that front. It's that simple. But we're seeing tonight with Yo, it's going to be a 51-49 thing. It's really close. I'm taking Yo over Blanchett, but yeah, I'm not excited about it. I know I'm early Sophic because when the SAG Awards end, I love to be really quick on, let's just jump into it. Let's talk about stuff right now. Because half the time I'm sitting around waiting for 9. I'm waiting for 9. Like, it's midnight somewhere, right? We talked about that the other night. It's midnight somewhere. We can do MMT virtually any time during the day. So tonight is early. By the way, yes, it is Blackburn Rovers away third. Look at this thing is like iridescent. It has roses all over it. I need this kit. I need this shirt. So yes, tonight is, as I pull it up, Blackburn Rovers. All right, more comments from you guys here on this Sunday night. We are seeing the beginning of Marvel fatigue. We started to see it with Wakanda Forever. Didn't open like we expected. You saw it with Thor second weekend, and over the long haul, you're starting to see Marvel fatigue all over the place. And we're going to find out how strong that fatigue is when we get to Guardians 3 should be huge. There is no reason that Guardians 3 should not be a massive film. And it's the major brand for Marvel. It's not Ant-Man. It's not a sub-character. It is a main character, right? Hey, I think we're back. That sucked. Thank you to my internet provider for completely going dead on me. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me right now. All right, let's do it. Let's go back to it. Where was I? I was going off on the MCU and doing comments. Let's go. Let's do it. I'm so sorry, guys. I can't control the internet. My internet provider stinks. Okay, let's go. That was like a 5-minute break. Yes, 100% it was acting up. All right, let's roll back into it. And we were talking about MCU and the fact that there is absolutely MCU fatigue right now, right? No question about the fact that people are burnt on it. So I think that's one of the biggest reasons that we're seeing what we're seeing right now. Ice Rhino 750, welcome to the channel. Thank you for the super chat. Marvel needs to find their new Tony to funnel the story through. Who would you like to see take that slot? You cannot bring RDJ back. It tarnishes the legacy. I don't care what you think you have to do. You cannot bring him back. He needs to go. That's what makes Endgame what it is. So if you're going to bring back Iron Man, I just don't think you can. I wouldn't. From a creative aspect, as desperate as I am, and Marvel certainly is probably feeling desperate right now. Kevin Feige and everyone down there in Manhattan Beach is like, listen, we got to do something. I think they're going to stay the course. They're going to see what happens with Guardians, right? What happens with Guardians? And if that continues to go down, if we see another massive drop in that second weekend, well, I mean, we're going to see a drop. It's going to happen. It's just said it moments ago, well, before the internet went out, that the MCU is going to be front-loaded. It always will be going forward. Everyone runs out to see the films. I just think you can't bring him back. You cannot. It's just not something that's a smart move. So I just don't like it. Is it Riri Williams? I hope to God not, Jeremy. I hope that she's not, and I mean this as respectfully as I can. I think that role is really miscast. I think she's too old for Ironheart. When I was watching Wakanda, and she comes up, and there's like she's an MIT student, and I'm looking at her and I'm going, this actress is like closer to 30, and I look, she's closer to 30. You have to do age-appropriate casting. It's like, remember when they did Luke Perry on 90210 and dude was like 40 and he was playing an 18-year-old? It's not a good, it was a bad cast. There were 2 bad castings in Wakanda Forever. 1, Ironheart. 2, Namor. Both of those were not on the nose. And because of that, that film suffered. So I hope that it's not. Because I don't love. I could be proven wrong over time, but my initial reaction to her was she's too old for that role. It's not about her, right? And I know you guys go, oh my God, he's being ageist. Says the guy who's no longer 18. Give me a freaking break, guys. But listen, we're casting for a certain look, and you're telling me an MIT student? She looks like she's been at MIT for 10 years, right? Give me a thumbs up. Am I not right? 100%. She doesn't work. Okay. Omega Swiper doesn't agree, but she doesn't look right. Alex, no, I cannot be the Tony Stark multiverse. I could be. This is a different version. The movie evaluator guy with a show on YouTube that rivals the Riddlers in Batman. That's my multiverse. Only a listener again. Cast Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise just said, I think recently, he's like, no one else could play Iron Man. I don't think he wants a part of that at 62. Not 62 yet, 62 TOO. But you have to, if you're going to recast, you want to make sure that person is at least like 30. If you're going to do Iron Man again, you want a younger actor. That's why they went with Pattinson for Batman, because when Reeves has this longer plan for it, thank God that Zaslav is letting Reeves make his Batman cinematic universe. But when you look at an actor over time, you can't have somebody who's 40 taking over, because then they're going to be 50. You want to have someone 30 to 40. Because trust me, when you hit 40, it's all downhill, you guys. Recast Black Panther, Jeffrey, we talked about it. Should have happened. I mean, it absolutely should have happened. I said you should have put Jonathan Majors in that role. But now we know Kang is a massive part of the MCU, so not using him there now makes more sense to me. But Black Panther, T'Challa, pretty important character in the MCU. So you need to have someone in there, and I agree that was a mistake. They made another mistake. Do the actors lie about their age? Jaffo, welcome to the channel. I don't know. I mean, don't we all? Don't we all a little bit? But it's not about. I don't know if she lied about her age, but the look. She doesn't look 19. She looks 28. Remember that movie Happy Death Day? I remember watching that. I never finished it. I'm going to be forthright with you guys. When I watch Happy Death Day, it's like she's in college. I'm like, no, she's not. This girl's 29. And I was right. At the time she filmed that thing, she was like 28, 29. I'm sorry. I'm a casting director. When you're a casting director, when you're a studio head, you have to be ruthless. We have to get these things right. It's not about being nice, right? It's about getting it right. And when I watch Happy Death Day, I'm like, she's too old. When I watch Ironheart, too old. And those are mistakes that I don't like to see. It takes me out of the film. Denzel Washington's son, John David, should have played Black Panther since Denzel and Chadwick are close friends. You guys know if you've missed streams in the past, I'm not a huge fan of John David Washington because I feel like he doesn't let it loose. He holds back. The best that we've ever seen John David Washington is Black Klansman. Everything outside of that, I would argue, is not great. I don't think he's exceptional in Tenet. Okay. He just is a flatter actor. There's something missing from John David Washington when I watch him. You know, when you watch someone like Chad Boseman, when you watch someone like Jonathan Majors, when you look at Michael B. Jordan, you know, if we're going to talk about Black actors, right? We're not just we're just going to focus on actors with presence and people who be better. Watch Wakanda Forever. When does that film come alive? The second the Michael B. Jordan shows up. He has it. Wait till you see Creed 3. I saw it 2 weeks ago now. I can't wait to talk about that film more. Thursday night, we're doing a stream about Creed 3. When you watch him, he has the it factor. Michael B. Jordan. Jonathan Majors, John David Washington, you saw it again with, I can't believe I have to even think about this film again. But when you go back and you look at, and I'm literally forgetting the name of the film, the David O. Russell film, and I'm so happy that I am. I'm going to call it Canterbury Glass because that's what it was supposed to be called. But when you look at him in that film, you are looking at someone who is out of his league. Right? You've got Bale and you've got Margot Robbie and even Taylor Swift early in that film. They are stronger than John David Washington in Canterbury Glass. Just forever, it's going to be that. Nope. Goober, it is Canterbury Glass. It's not Amsterdam. I swear to God, I could not remember. But the fact, this shows you that my brain works very oddly. You guys knew that. I remember the former name of the film more than the actual name. That is whack. I agree, some actors have charm. Just by seeing them, you have a smile. They have presence. They have gravitas. They command the screen. And John David Washington, sadly, does not. He did in what he was supposed to do in Black Klansman, and I think he's also pretty good in Malcolm and Marie. But he is missing what you need in Tenet. And if you're going to go action hero, right? Because that's what Tenet is. Then you better see it there. So no, I say no to John David Washington in the MCU. No, that's a negative because I just don't see what I'm looking for there. I agree. Okay, hold on. Let's go to Mega Swiper again. How about Cruise, Hanks, Damon Affleck, Jackman, Pitt Smith in B. Jordan? Are we legends? I Am Legend 2. Michael B. Jordan would be great for I Am Legend 2. Michael B. Jordan is just a guy who has it, right? He's got the it factor. You remember from Fruitvale Station, first time I laid eyes on the guy, I'm like, this guy's got it. Creed 2, Creed 3, Black Panther. He is physically, my man, you talk about physique critique. In fact, let's just do that. Let's do the Michael B. Jordan physique critique right now, and we go to Creed. Let me find a shirtless picture. This is, by the way, if you haven't ever seen physique critique, but Shill of the Week's coming up. But I want to do physique critique for you guys. For those of you who have never watched, this is where we take an actor and we look at their appearance in a film when they got in shape. The thing about Michael B. Jordan is, dude is always yoked. So therefore, Okay, here we go. Let's go to, I should say, let's just hit images. Okay, here he is. Oh, well, there's quite a few options for us. Look, this is Creed 3. Look at my man right here. I mean, he's got full delts. He's got really impressive traps. I would love to have half of those traps. But look at him. He is cut. He's got gigantic traps, and he looks really good. He actually looks small, though, compared to, look at him there. Remember in Black Panther, that's a little CG. But he's got a big chest. He's got really, his traps are like the best. Great buys and tries. He actually looks small, though, next to Jonathan Majors in Creed 3. But Michael B. Jordan, physique critique, he's one of the best out there. Are we going to do an Andrew Garfield hairline review? You know what? Because you asked for it, let's just do it. Andrew Garfield hair. Tonight he looks amazing. His hair is so thick. Let's pop him up here. Look at this hair. I mean, what else can you say about Michael B. Jordan? I mean, he just looks amazing. Okay, there he is. Look at the hair. Look at Andrew Garfield. Stop selling me soccer jerseys, football shirts. Look, there's the one I'm wearing tonight. I already got it. Stop trying to sell it to me. Look at Andrew Garfield's head of hair. It's so thick. It's so robust. It's very hedge-like. It's amazing. I would give his hair a 9.9 out of 10. That would be my number for that. There it is. The quick hairline review here. Production budget for Cocaine Bear was $35 million. That's insane, Magnus. I assume that's a lot of CG because there's no way in hell that movie should have a $35 million price tag. Like, no chance. When I watched that movie, other than the CG of the bear, which had to be expensive. I know CG is expensive, but that's the only way that I can figure it out. Ice Rhino, thank you for the super chat. Marvel needs to find their new Tony Stark to funnel the story through. Who would you like to see? I mean, I just don't think you can do it. I don't think you can recast Tony Stark. It's an iconic role. Robert Downey Jr., the one and only. Tom Cruise just said as such when someone asked him about it this weekend. He is Iron Man, RDJ. You cannot recast that role. Marvel probably is really, really thinking about it. They're like, we maybe... I'm just telling you, Kevin Feige, as a loyal MMT viewer, don't do it. Do not recast Tony Stark. As much as you feel like you almost have to because you need a Hail Mary now, maybe you're starting to feel the pressure down there in Manhattan Beach at the studios. Don't do it. Don't recast Tony Stark. Let it be Robert Downey Jr. Let the character die in Endgame. It's why the film will be the best MCU film of all time forever because of what we did to Tony Stark in the film. Do not bring him back. Do not regenerate Tony Stark. I mean, that's the only... there's no other answer to that, in my estimation. Ant-Man should have used new Rockstar story that connected to Endgame. I'm going to trust you on that, Omega Swiper. You guys know I'm not Mr. CBM guy. I don't know ins and outs of everything. That's why when I watch MODOK, I'm like, yeah, laugh. MODOK's funny. The rest of you are like, holy crap, they destroyed the character. I hate it. It's the worst thing ever. It's just a difference of how you view it, right? Different viewpoints. My viewpoint is much of, I just want to watch a fun movie. The rest of you are like, what are they doing to my Marvel character? I get it. It's just a different, lens that we're both looking for. Garfield looks amazing. I know we're jumping around, but that's what we do at MMT. Shill of the Week's next. I'm going to take this comment, then we're going to Shill of the Week. I got to put my headphones on for Shill of the Week, by the way. I'm going to put them on and get it ready. Okay, so he looks amazing he's almost 40, right? Is Andrew Garfield like 39? He's something like that. He's way older than you think he is. Make sure I'm on the right side. He's older than you think he is. But Garfield really he doesn't age. He looks amazing. Okay, headphones are on. Are you guys ready? Here we go. Here we go, everybody. It's time. For those of you who've never watched, it's time for MMT's Shill of the Week. Voice cracking is perfect. All right, here we go. This is someone who came to me earlier this week. We were talking about Cocaine Bear, and I was doing some searching on the internet for reviews because I was like, there's no way that people think Cocaine Bear is good. I came out of the film like, this film's fucking terrible. Who thinks this is a good film? So I'm going through, and those of you who are here for our Cocaine Bear stream, you know who it is. Our shill of the week, we are going to play a clip from our shill of the week for having really one of the, I dare I say, most embarrassing takes ever on a film. And trust me, you guys are all like, well, you've been wrong on so many things. Here's the problem with who we're about ready to talk about, is that none of what is said is true. Okay. None of what is said in the following video is true. And the best part about it is at the end, we learn why what was said was said. You guys ready for our show of the week? It is, drum roll please, everybody. It is David Wayne. Ladies and gentlemen, let's pop him up and let's listen to his review of Cocaine Bear. I want to make sure you guys can hear it. So please, in the comments, give me a thumbs up if you can hear David in his review of this horrible film. Play the clip.
Cocaine Bear is a total home run. I'm sure you probably already know, but this is a new movie in theaters inspired by a true story about a bear that gets into a bunch of cocaine and goes on a big rampage. In 1985, the premise alone would make this a hit, but it's the execution that makes it so special. This is the kind of movie I wish we had more of. It's a wholly original premise, wholly original tone, and it's...
Hold on. I gotta stop you, David. I was gonna try to get through the whole thing. I can't do it. It's the execution. One of the flattest directorial efforts I maybe have seen in the theater in the last several years. Direction that merits nothing to discuss other than it's directed. It is a directed film. That's the best I can say about Cocaine Bear, but let's continue. It gets better.
And it's executed masterfully by this...
It's executed masterfully.
Incredible cast, which includes bonus 3 of the stars of The Americans, and it's by a team of filmmakers led by the unstoppable force known as Elizabeth Banks, who, full disclosure and brag, is a personal friend. She directed...
There it is, everybody. Let's hear it for David. After he gets done praising her and how great this film is, he says, oh, in full disclosure, she's a good friend. What would you guys think if I came on MMT, right? I came on MMT and I was like, I said to myself, I go off. I said, this is my favorite movie of the year. I think it's the best directorial effort and certainly a best screenplay, all this. And full disclosure, it's directed by my best friend. Even if all of what I said was true, you guys would instantly say, you're a shill. I don't trust you. It's your friend. But we trust David. Let's continue on David because it gets better. I can't wait till he uses the word, get ready for it, muscular.
Directed the movie and she produced it along with Max Handelman and Lord Miller and others. She has a muscular and disciplined and confident and creative approach to all of the aspects of the filmmaking.
She has a muscular... I got to hear it again. I'm sorry. I got to hear it one more time.
And creative approach to all of the aspects of the filmmaking, the shots, the pacing, the sound, the VFX, the music by Mark.
Oh, I missed it. Damn it.
And disciplined.
Oh, there it is.
Friend. She directed the movie and she produced it along with Max Handelman and Lord Miller and others. She has a muscular, and disciplined and confident and creative approach to all of the
none of it's
creative
filmmaking. It's
the
not
shots,
at all
the pacing,
the
sound,
shots,
the VFX,
the sound, the
music
visual.
by
None
Mark
of it is creative.
Oh and this is an action movie that's
David,
an hour and a half.
None of this is
most
creative.
movies I see, whether
oh my god, I can't do it anymore. Most movies I
like
see,
them or not, I think you can take a half hour out of it. This one is just exactly right.
No, you're
95
wrong.
minutes.
You can take
that's what you want. Anyway, it's going to be a big hit. Even
oh my god, God Almighty, holy hell. It's such a bad review. It is a paid. I understand it. Listen, when we do our shill of the week, please listen, guys. It doesn't have to be a critic because we're going to run out of critics. There's only so many shills. I wish that we had more. And we're going to get to pretty much everybody. But when we have someone here like this that's perfect, we got to use it. So he's not a critic. It's basically a paid advertisement by a friend, right? I get it. I'm more honest when it comes to my reviews. Nobody loves muscles. True, Jay. This is true. MMT always muscular. I mean, a muscular approach. What? It's such a forgettable directorial effort. I mean, that's being kind. To say that Cocaine Bear is a muscular directorial effort and it's all about direction. I can't state this enough. It's a directed film. That's all it is. And before you all jump, you guys know we've done this so many times, but there's always going to be somebody. You hate women-directed movies. Any movie directed by a woman you think's terrible. But yet, Saint Maud was your number one movie of 2020. Or 21, whichever year it was. Directed by a woman. After Sun, directed by a woman. Adored. Number 2 movie of 2022. On and on we can go. Women talking. Loved. Yep, all directed by women. Oh my God, what? How is that possible? So don't do that. Don't be that guy. Don't be like our shill last week. I don't want to remember his name. That guy, right? The 4 white winners at BAFTA. Oh, look at this. You guys are all racist because you voted for 4 white people. Or perhaps they voted for who they thought was the best. Because that's how I do it. I don't know about you. I don't check off boxes. I pick who I think is the best in the role because I believe merit trumps all, period. There's no more to add to that. There is nothing more to add. If you believe in your merit lens that someone who is not white deserves to win, then go. That's it. That's how we do it. We do merit. We don't base it on color of skin or sex or any of that. It's always merit. I'm right. There's no other way to see this, you guys. You know it. Everyone knows. Give me a thumbs up, and I can do this all day, every day. There's no other way to see this than to say it is merit. And just because someone who won is white does not mean that the voters are racist. Stop doing that. It cheapens you. It makes you look weak. It makes you look like a victim. And we're not going to be victims. We're going to attack. As Chris Pine said in Don't Worry, Darling, we are pushing forward. That's a one time that anyone has ever used that. But I'm 100% right. You guys, there's no other way to see it. You guys know it. You all know it. You know that it's all about merit. I can't stand any other discussion about that. You know, and conversely, that doesn't mean we're against diversity. It means we're for merit. Those two things are separate. We are for whoever's the best gets to win. That's it. In sports, who gets to play? The best player, not the person who looks the best or checks a box. In sports, if we did it that way, then sports would suck. We would watch soccer, football, basketball, whatever sport you partake in. You would watch it and go, this sucks. Because not the best players out there, someone who's checking a box, someone who it's the right thing to do. No, it's not. We are going to go just like sports. The best player wins. The best actor wins. The best film wins. Director, screenplay. It doesn't matter who wrote it. Doesn't matter who directed it. Is the film good or not? Period. End of discussion. There's no more to add to that. I'm 100% right. You guys know it. Anyone who wants to argue that is wrong. There's no other way to see this. You know I'm right. I can't even do any more of this. It's like there's no wrong to that. Exactly, Mark. Because it's true. There's no attacking that. Where's the attack? Where are you going to attack me on that? You know where they're going to attack? You know someone would do? They would come and they'd say, well, says the white guy. Lame. Do better. Attack the argument, which is merit trumps all. Period. Let's take that and take it to college, right? So many things now, it's like, we're looking for a certain box to fill for someone, for an applicant for college. No, if I'm at college and I'm picking, this is how I'm doing. If I'm looking at all the people who applied to get into my college, to MMT University, I am not even going to look at the racial profile it's very hard not to look at the sex because obviously, now it is. But I'm just going to I'm going to block the name, right? So I'm going to literally put something on top of it and I'm going to look at the resume. SAT score, okay? Grade, activities, sports, that's it. And then after I've made my decision, I'm going to go, oh, look, it's this person. We're not going to do it the other way. We're not going to go, oh, this person check a box. Oh, now let's look at, no. If we are, the world cannot work like that. It can, but it's not the right, it's a shit world. I can't. There's nothing more to say on that. I know I'm right. I'm 100% right. You guys know I'm right. Even the people that push the other stuff know I'm right. They do. They ultimately know. They know. There's no other way to say it. Yeah, there's no reason. Goober. We're not picking people based on. I don't need these anymore. We're not picking people based on their profile, their racial profile, or their sex. We're picking people based on merit. We're picking films based on merit. Period. End of discussion. There's not another thing to add. The end. That's over. We're done. All right. Let's continue on with other comments because there's nothing else to say on that end. We did this right. It's not MCU fatigue. We didn't yet. Lonely. It's a bad comic book film fatigue. I'm telling you, I don't get how you guys hate Ant-Man 3 so much. It just doesn't register with me. I feel like you guys are going into these films expecting here's the problem. And I understand with Marvel it's going to be different. But when you go in expecting one thing and you get another, that doesn't mean the film's bad. It can still work with that in place. With you knowing that, you can still say the film works. Example for me, The Whale. The Whale is not the movie I would make with Brendan Fraser as a morbidly obese dude. I would make a completely different film. We've talked about that before. How would I fix the film? I would take him and I would get him out of his apartment. I'd have him living in a small town just like he is in Idaho, but I'd have him interacting in the actual town. And this is probably a COVID shoot. And that's the other reason the film feels so crap. You're stuck in that apartment because we're shooting COVID, so we can't do outside locations. Remember that whole thing. Oh, you could go outside and die if you don't have your mask on. I remember before, in the middle of like 2020, if you were outside riding your bike without a mask, that guy's killing people. So that's when they shot that film. But I would not make it that way. I would make it totally different. But let's say you wanted something different from Ant-Man 3. Fine, you didn't get it. But does it work? For The Whale, I wanted something different, but what they made doesn't work. It's terrible. The Whale is the worst awards film perhaps in the history of awards films. It's that terrible. But yet Brendan Fraser's likely right now going to win Best Actor. Ugh. Make it make sense. We know why. It is about his redemption story. The performance is solid, but the film's terrible. I can't award someone in a terrible film. I can do a marginal film. We can do Renee Zellweger in Judy. We cannot do Brendan Fraser in The Whale because The Whale is atrocious. The Whale is one of, if not the worst awards films in the past multiple decades. You have to go back forever to get it. It's that terrible. For those of you who have not watched The Whale, it's just a repugnantly horrible film. God, how much worse can I say a film is? My dream ending would have been Ant-Man and the Wasp and definitely trapped in the quantum realm. I mean, that would be that would have been more, I'm not going to lie to you, artistically more interesting. But we have to have now the happy ending. But, Infinity War didn't. Endgame did. But Infinity War didn't. And people loved Infinity War. So you can do that, especially when you're continuing on. So I don't mind. I kind of like that. Edward Hogg. I don't know who the hell is Edward. I know who Joanna Hogg is. Who's Edward Hogg? My favorite film of the year. Which one? This? Ant-Man? Or was it The Whale? Was it The Whale? Oh, shit, no, Magnus. Do not come in here and say The Whale's good. You guys know I will start screaming and hollering and going crazy. I can't do it. Okay, let's see. I think I've got at least one more thing I want to get to here tonight. Couple things. Let's do this. Let's do real quick on this. Jesus Revolution outperformed $15.5 million for this small faith-based film with Kelsey Grammer. And that's a really good sign for theatrical. That's really the takeaway here. When a film like that's doing well in Cocaine Bear, we're in a good spot theatrically. That's Jesus Revolution. Also, I do want to mention this. Speaking of an interesting article I came across. I didn't get a chance to talk about this last time. I'm going to bring it up right now. Could mediocre movies be saving theaters? I read this on Variety, and this is from Owen Gleiberman. Very good critic. I actually respect Owen a lot. Not a lot of critics I think are good at what they do. I think Owen is. But look what he writes here. He says, could mediocre movies like Ticket to Paradise, Man Called Otto, 80 for Brady, which we can all agree these are mediocre films. They're not terrible, but they're not great. But he says, could they save theaters? And you look at the box office for all of them, they've all done well. Man Called Otto is over 100 million worldwide. Okay, they have all performed very well. Ticket to Paradise is like at 150 maybe worldwide. I mean, it's a big number. Okay. And then you have even 80 for Brady's, I think at 40 million stateside. These are profit-making films. But here's the point about the article. Okay, he says these films could save theaters. Here's why these films did well, right? It's not so much they were mediocre. Yes, we can agree they are. But the reason that they did well is because, help me out, someone in the comments, get to it before me. You have 5 seconds to get before me. You have 5 seconds. Why did all of these films do well at the box office? Ticket to Paradise, Man Called Otto, and 80 for Brady. Why did all three of those do well? Other than they were older skewing audience films and they did have star power, that's not the number one. Alternative program, yes, no, it's not age. You're close. It's not it though. That's not the reason. We finally have it. You guys ready? Drum roll. Boom, right there. They were not streamed. They were only available in movie theaters. And that's why they outperformed. If you put these on streaming, they would all have suffered immeasurably, including A Man Called Otto. It wouldn't be anywhere near 100. If that were a Netflix film, obviously it wouldn't have any box office, but we wouldn't even know how it would do. That's why I do not like Netflix. That's why I will not support Netflix until they get into theaters. Because how can you support a studio that doesn't pay attention to or care about theatrical when we love movies? That's all we talk about. This is midnight movie talk. This is not midnight streaming talk. This is not midnight TV talk. This is movies. That's all we do. So that's why Joe does know. It's 100%. And it drove older audiences back, and older people are back, which is really good, right? 100%. It's very good news that older audiences are back in theaters. What film brought them back? In the comments, you guys know. You can tell me before I say it. What film brought older audiences back to theaters? You guys know the answer to this. It's so easy. It's the easiest question we've ever asked here on MMT. What film brought audiences that were old back to movie theaters last year? And then another film came right after it, and then it was a 1-2 punch. Wham! We had this film and then that film, and then we had, yes, Steven, Top Gun Maverick brought everyone back. And then right afterwards, it was Elvis. It was the 1-2 punch of Elvis, Maverick first, then Elvis, that brought everyone back to multiplexes. Elvis outperformed. We know what Top Gun Maverick did. Stateside, 720 million more than Avatar 2. We did get that right. Avatar 2 did not come up to Maverick. It's not going to get there. Elvis, you guys are all there, and Elvis. Those are your two. But you had the older audiences back, and now you have films like Man Called Otto, Ticket to Paradise, 80 for Brady, that are really cementing the marketplace and bringing and reaffirming what we've been seeing now all the way back to Top Gun Maverick. If you give older audiences a reason to come out of their houses, they are no longer scared of COVID. They will come to see a movie, but it cannot be on streaming. You can't put it on streaming 17 days later. Sony is still sitting on A Man Called Otto in theaters. Imagine if they did a Universal on that. 17 days, it wouldn't even be close to 100, because you know what happens? People wait. Megan just debuted on streaming this weekend, right? I know it's the unrated version, but look, you're telling people that if you just wait a few weeks, you can watch it at home. That's why that 90-day window was so important in theatrical, because you force people that wanted to see the movie to go to a movie theater. Okay? And that's why Top Gun Maverick did the numbers it did. It was theatrical exclusive for, what was it? 120? It was at least 4 months, 5 months. I mean, it was a long ass time in theaters. As such, it's going to make more money, clearly, because you don't give people the option to watch at home. So it's like no brainer. And the more studios do that, the more you're going to drive people in to watch the film. 2 weeks is not long enough. 3 weeks is not long enough. 60 days, the lowest window, the smallest window I want to see is 45. Anything under 45, you're risking box office. Over, I know we're changed. I get it. The world is a different place. But if you make people go to theaters, they will. Look at the Oscar shorts. They're doing well. I just read an article about the specialty box office. You had Emily this weekend, which didn't do huge numbers, but you had that. You had the Oscar shorts still doing well. And you still, these specialty films are the small independent things like Bleecker Street, obviously Neon. A24 is kind of on the edge of that, right? They're almost big. They're almost in with the big boys at this point. But those are the smaller films. The shorts are doing really well. If you make people and give people an option to go see it in the theater, they'll do it. It's super easy. It's not hard. If Avatar 2 was on Disney Plus, wouldn't it be number 4 right now? Yeah, exactly. It wouldn't be. Alex, 100% correct. It's still doing well. I don't know what the number was this weekend, but I mean, it's number 4. We are going to get a big weekend next. Is Avatar 2's? No. I think it's number 4 because number 3 was Jesus Revolution, right? So this weekend it went Ant-Man, it went Cocaine Bear, Jesus Revolution, and then Avatar. Fast X has to be better than Cocaine Bear. Fast X, I mean, Cocaine Bear is one of the worst films of the year. Go back and watch the stream that's simply called Cocaine Bear is Horrible. I can't talk about the movie anymore. It's all there. But if you want to listen to our friend David, the good buddy of Elizabeth Banks, then he's going to tell you that it's muscularly directed and it's really lights out execution across the board. Okay, dude. I know for a filmmaker to say that too, that must have been really hard for him to actually say. It'd be like for me coming on here. You guys know I can't do it. I'm Jim Carrey and liar, liar. If you ask me to say something I don't believe in, I go like this. Yeah, I thought it was. Yeah. So you guys know if I love Ant-Man 3, I really liked it. Then I did. If I hate the whale, I hate it. I mean, it's the only way to look at it. Fast X, the trailer. My God, the short trailer they showed in front of Cocaine Bear with just everyone's pissed off face in the car, right? Just like this, looking over. I'm angry and I'm in a car. That whole thing for like every actor in the movie. Also, I'm curious. Here's a question for you: are you more excited or less excited about Fast X based on Brie Larson's involvement? Because I know Brie Larson is super polarizing. No one's going to argue that. I don't personally have an issue with Brie Larson. I think she's fine. I love Short Term 12. I go back to Brie Larson for Room, but Short Term 12 before that. Brie Larson in 21 Jump Street. I have no problem with her, but I know a lot of you do. So are you pissed that she's in the film? Does that make you not as excited for the film? Or I guess the other thing is like, who cares? It's Fast X. We don't even care who's in it. We'll go see it. Less excited for Brie. I mean, I get it. Less excited for Fast X. Not because of Brie Larson, because F9, Lonely Lizard. F9's terrible. F9 is not as bad as Cocaine Bear, but it's terrible. Okay? There are shades of atrocious. Cocaine Bear is at the very bottom, along with Magic Mike 3. Fast 9 is like up to like a 4. So you're sliding the scale slightly up. For me, Cocaine Bear's a 1. Magic Mike's a 0. But I will say the one thing Magic Mike 3 has over Cocaine Bear is Soderbergh's direction is stronger than Elizabeth Banks. Oh, no, you just said it. You just said a white guy's better than a woman director. It's the truth. Magic Mike 3, from a directorial standpoint, from an artistically dialed in and calibrated standpoint, is way stronger than Cocaine Bear. I mean, it's not even comparable. But Magic Mike is even worse and borderline unwatchable because of some of the things that occur in that film than Cocaine Bear. But as an overall film, Cocaine Bear and the assembly and the direction and the screenplay, it's the worst film of the year. It's worse than Magic Mike. But for some reason, because it had a cocained up bear killing people, it gets a 1. Magic Mike had nothing redeeming except for the artistic-ish direction of Soderbergh and some cool song usage. It's like, I don't want to watch either one of them. Yeah, I'm probably canceled now because you hate a movie directed by a woman, but you love After Sun and Saint Maud and women talking and all these. Oh, but you hate women movies directed by women. Oh, Brie is fine as supporting character. Yeah, that's a good point. I feel like that's accurate, Ice Rhino. I feel like that's a fair comment. Some people, and this is a good conversation to have. There are some actors, John David Washington, who belong as a supporting character. They're not the lead, right? There's many, many people out there that are more of a character actor. I think even Paul Walter Hauser. I think he can be the lead, but he's a killer supporting character. He's a perfect character actor. Paul Walter Hauser might be our best character actor today. I think it's pretty easy to see. And I've even watched that the latest one, whatever it's called. The one in New Orleans, that one. I haven't watched it. I heard it's good, but he's a hell of a character actor. But that's a good career. I would rather be a character actor than like the main actor because you're going to have a longer career. Like Paul Walter Hauser is going to be working for like the next 25 years in all kinds of roles. What's your take on the CNBC piece titled "Movie Theaters Aren't Dying; They're Evolving"? I haven't looked at it. Let me Google it since you asked. I will look for it. CNBC movie theaters. Okay, let's see if I can find it through a Google News. There it is. I've got it right here. Let's look at it live because we don't talk. Listen, the one thing we don't do on MMT, you guys know, we do not come on here and we just shoot. Now, I have a few ideas. Obviously, I've got some banners up, but I love doing this. And there's a lot of, let's be honest with each other, there's a lot of YouTubers who couldn't do this. They couldn't even, because this is fast processing. To process what they're saying and then critique it, evaluate it on the spot. It's very much like watching a film. Okay, let's do it. Movie theaters aren't dying, they're evolving. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, movies are still big. It's the multiplexes that are getting smaller. Since 2019, total number of screens in the U.S. have decreased by around 3,000 to just under 40,000 screens nationwide. The consolidation was a direct result of the COVID pandemic. No shit. Okay. Let's see. Theaters have been forced to innovate, even as Hollywood production returns to normal and studios offer more movies for release. As space contracts, cinema operators are investing in the basics, improving sound, picture quality, blah, blah, blah. The premium push. Already the industry's seeing improvements in ticket sales. I mean, what I'm seeing here is just what we've been talking about is that the audience will come. By the way, it's a beautiful picture of that IMAX theater in New York. That looks like ours here in Burbank. It looks like almost identical. In fact, I thought that was Burbank's IMAX 16 right there at the 16. Okay, so, I mean, yes, people want to go to movies, but they also do want a higher experience, a more luxurious experience, whether that be pristine screens, whether it be sit-down dine-in service. They want that. So it's not like the old days in the 80s where it didn't matter where you went. You know, I went to the Northland 8 or the Eastland 6. It didn't matter. You just wanted to go watch a film in Columbus, Ohio, and you knew you're getting a seat and a screen. And half the time it might not even been projected right because back then we didn't, out in LA, your shit better be right or someone in the audience who is a director, producer, editor, cinematographer will go up to the manager and go, "This film doesn't look good. This film looks like shit. I am a projectionist and this looks terrible." So in LA, you can't have that. But I think that the takeaway is that people do want a better experience. And I understand that. If you're going to go to a movie, you want to feel like you went to a film. You don't want to have people talking in a movie, that's for sure. And I thank God, again, that we do not, I don't live in a city where you have people that are disrespectful moviegoers, right? That are on their phones. They're talking. They're just, just rude. Okay, let's read the last thing here. Okay. I think we unfortunately have had some very bad public relation aspects through the course of COVID, said the National Association of Theater Owners leader, Rodriguez. And now we have to kind of rebuild that muscle with the consumers and remind them, hey, that's behind us. Theaters are fine. Yes, I mean, we know that. But the truth of it is the number one thing that's helped theaters, two things, right? One, COVID's fear is over. That is the number one reason theaters have returned. Compelling product. And the number one. Okay, number one is COVID's over, yes. Number 1A is exclusivity. You have to make these films exclusive. If you do not, you are asking for people to just wait for streaming. That's the reality of the situation, right? Why should a movie about Freddie Mercury make 3 times more than a movie about Elvis? Because we're in a different place now, Magnus. The world's different. I can't argue that. 2019, actually, was that 18? Yeah, I think that was 18. When you look at Bohemian Rhapsody, that was a different world. It's a different world today than it was. But Elvis was theatrical exclusivity. And I feel like now Elvis would make even more money than it did back then in May, June last year. So now I think we are 100% back. The only thing holding theaters from having the numbers they used to have back is in the comments. You guys hit me. You know what it is. Exclusivity. If you give people it at home, they're going to take it all day. So it's that simple. That's the number one reason why theaters will sink or succeed is if the film is available at home in a week or two, you are asking people to just sit at home and wait. And that's why I chided them for watching Megan at home versus going out and supporting it in theaters, even though the film is done hellaciously well. It would have done better if those people that were waiting for it on streaming had to wait another 3 weeks. Nope, sorry, you're not getting it at home for another 3 weeks. And then they're like, okay, fine, I'll go see Megan. But you gave it to them, and what has it been? Has it even been, what was the release date of Megan? Hold on, let me see. Megan release date was, I mean, it all seems, it goes by so fast now. January 6th. Okay, so we did make them wait almost 45 days. So I don't hate the Megan window. Here's the Megan. Here, let me pull it up. Here's the Megan. So it was out on the 6th of January. Damn, man. I didn't realize that was so long ago. I thought it was, man, this year's flying already. We're at the end of February. What? So that's about a 45-day window. I like it. So, but still, support Megan in theaters. Don't watch it at home. Joker 2 will be a hit. It'll struggle to get $1 billion. Rusty, we're not in the same place we were in 2019. I mean, how many other ways can you say it? You know it. I still think that if Warner Brothers puts an exclusivity clause on Joker 2 and says it's only going to be in theaters for 90 days like it was in 2019 for Joker, then this film can make $1 billion because it's going to be a film that nobody wants to see second weekend. It's gonna have a hellacious drop too. It will be, you talk about a ticket that everybody wants. Joker 2 is going to be the biggest film. Is it 2024? It will be, if not the number one film of 2024, it'll be right there in the top 3. I know that doesn't sound like I'm going that far out, but really think about this. People are ready for this film. If you dropped it now, it might be $1 billion film. I think it gets there, especially as long as we don't have any more manufactured pandemics. Oh, he said it. He's terrible. As long as we don't have any more Marburg, I've done my research. I've seen it all. Then we should be in a good place. Now, all bets are off if they decide to pull some shit like they did before. That's going to be a different thing. It's going to be a different thing. Is it 2024? Oh, what else is 2024? Why, David, all I'm asking you guys is ask questions. That's it. Just ask questions. Always ask questions. Don't just accept face value. Always, always, always. This year we'll come back to cinema. This year, with what we have coming up, we went through the releases way back at the beginning of the year. It's like our first stream of the year. Everything that's coming is going to be huge starting this spring, late spring, Guardians, all the way through. You look at Oppenheimer, Barbie, Mission 7. These are huge. All of these. As long as Barbie's decent, I think it's going to be a big outperform. I don't like the trailer. That teaser trailer is not good. That's not at all how I like, with the baby dolls and all that at the beginning. Like, what am I watching? Greta, what did you do? I can't believe that's the trailer they picked. That was a huge mistake. But as long as the film is funny, irreverent, like you expect it to be, like we see on the back end of that film with Gosling and with what's her name? Oh my God, Harley Quinn. When you get her, who by the way wasn't at SAG tonight, did you notice that? Pitt and she, neither of them were there. Margot Robbie or Pitt. That was weird because they knew Babylon wasn't going to win. That's why they weren't there. But I digress. Back to Barbie. Barbie will be outperformed. Mission 7 will be the number one film of the year. And then you have Guardians that'll do very, very well. You have Oppenheimer that Universal's been pushing hard. Oppenheimer has been shoved all over the place by Universal. This is why you sign with Universal and not Netflix, because Universal is doing the business on Oppenheimer. They are making sure everybody is aware that film's coming. They had the Super Bowl spot. They had the playoff spot. They've had trailers in theaters for over 6 months. This is going to help this film out because let's face facts. Other than Christopher Nolan, I mean, an Oppenheimer, a movie about Oppenheimer is not going to get you go, oh, I can't wait to see it. Because it's Nolan. Nolan is the event. Just like Tarantino is the event. Bong is the event. Fincher is the event. It doesn't even matter what the film is. The director is the event. So, but look at Oppenheimer and look at what Universal's doing. We're looking at a very, very healthy 2023. We're already seeing it with films like Cocaine Bear doing well, Jesus Revolution this weekend, Ant-Man, biggest opening for Ant-Man. Forget second weekend, first weekend. No question about it. All right, anyone else comments here? I'm about out of gas. We're going to keep going for a little bit longer because I know we went early, but there's going to be people that show up here at 9 o'clock going, what the hell? The stream's over. Well, it's all the same. Whether I do it at 9 or 8 or 7, we're still doing the same stuff. It's live. It might slightly change because of the viewers and the comments because you guys are awesome and you have very smart takes. I have a feeling The Flash is going to be huge. I agree, Alex. Another film we got to talk about. I don't think the issue with Ezra will keep people away. I mean, yeah, people try boycotting the Harry Potter video game. It's like at 1 billion. I think the boycott noise is just that. It's noise. People talk a bunch of shit, right? Whenever we see a company, something happens with the company. Someone does something someone doesn't like. Let's say that I was employed by Variety, which would never happen because it's way too controversial. Any of the trade. But if I said something like tonight, remember what I said about merit? Oh, that's terrible. Well, look at the white guy talking about merit should be the basis for everything. And then they'd start hammering the sponsor. You can't do this. Let's pull our sponsoring off. For what? But I think that a lot of people make that noise. The number one thing you need to do when that happens is just tune them out. Don't listen to them. Okay, unless it's something totally egregious like the Dilbert thing, right? Scott Adams. That was, that's like, okay. That stuff is different. When you have an opinion about merit, that's different. But there's people out there be like, he's terrible. No, I'm not. But just let them go. I didn't see it, Alan. I didn't see Jesus Revolution, but 15.5 million tells me that it is a success. I mean, that's a tiny budget on that film. And it's about Calvary Chapel, which I have been to Calvary Chapel once or twice in my life, so I'm familiar with what that church is. Listen, I'm not a super religious person, but I'm also not religious, right? So I'm somewhere in between. As a raised Catholic, I do definitely believe in God. Whatever that God is, I think there's some debate on that. But so I probably will watch Jesus Revolution because I've heard it's enjoyable. And, I like some other faith-based film, that Kurt Warner film, even though it wasn't really a true faith-based film, I thought it was really good. That whatever All-American, what was the name of that movie? The Kurt Warner, origin story. With what's his name, Zach Levi. That was good. So I think I probably like Jesus Revolution. Oh, Little Mermaid. Interesting to see. We will see what happens with Little Mermaid. Now, I want to preface what I'm going to say about Little Mermaid 100% to be not how I think. But there are people out there that are not happy with the casting of Little Mermaid. So remember we talked about Ant-Man, and one of the reasons that it has not performed as well as we expected is what we talked about earlier. The war against woke. Now, I am not the person who's going to come on here and start going off about this is woke, that's woke, but I'm just going to, the point I bring up when I mention this is there are people in this country who do not like the quote woke approach. So when we're analyzing what is happening from a market perspective and why a film is not performing as well, you have to throw this in there. It's one of the components, okay? It just is. So when we look at Little Mermaid, back to your comment, when we look at Little Mermaid, then you are looking at a film that could have that issue. I'm not saying that I agree, Jay. I'm saying that there are people who could and might have an issue with the casting of the film. Therefore, it could affect the box office. Give me a thumbs up if you understand what I just said. So I'm not saying I do. I'm trying to get through the fact that there are people who do feel that way. Okay? It's just like imagine if we did a show about politics, which at times will veer into a little, I don't want to do that. It's God, I can't even imagine. And we didn't at least acknowledge that there's a significant portion of the country that loves Donald Trump. Whether you do or not, there's still a portion that loves him, right? That's how we kind of approach the whole woke thing. Is whether you agree or disagree with woke. That's not what we're discussing. We're just wanting to make sure that you understand there is a portion, I think a significant portion of the population that does not like it. Therefore, that's one of the components when we talk about box office. It's very easy to figure out. There's other people who do this that don't want to acknowledge that. They want to talk all about, one of the guys on Twitter that talks about box office, he would never even say what I just said. But you have to. That doesn't make you a good analyst because this is part of the component. The woke aspect, quote unquote, is part of the deal. Lion King wasn't, but here's the thing though, Jay. Lion King wasn't woke. I can't believe I've said woke this many times. This will be the last time I do this in a long time. I hate saying the word. But Lion King wasn't woke, right? Lion King, people were pissed about because it was a remake of a cartoon that was perfectly fine. They were like, what's the point? Little Mermaid, they're going to say, I see more of a need for a Little Mermaid remake. It feels like more of something that I want to see in live action than Lion King. That said, I liked Lion King live action. I had no problem with it. But there was no woke, again, quote, I'll just say the W word. The W word. That was not mentioned with Lion King. It will be mentioned with Little Mermaid. In fact, it has. Go search. Just do a search on Twitter right now. Put in Little Mermaid and woke. Let's just, you know what? Let's just do it right now. You're here. I'm here. Let's just go and hit it and go to my Twitter and see what it says if I put in Little Mermaid and woke. And we're not agreeing. We're just putting in Little Mermaid and woke. Here we go. All right. Here it is, everybody. Let's see. Pop it up. Beep. Okay. His anger makes more sense. Oh, Ben Shapiro. Here we go. Here's a tweet. Disney is now injecting itself into politics by endorsing the indoctrination of small children into radicalized, sexualized worldviews, all because a small woke base is taking them hostage. It's time to fight back. Okay, see, but this is... Okay, so Ben Shapiro, who, by the way, how did Ben Shapiro... I will never understand how this man became as big as he did with the voice that he has. Like, I know we just talked about casting earlier, right? Nailing the casting. You have to get it right. It's part of the package. Part of the package of being a podcaster or doing what I do or any of, you love that you listen to, a Joe Rogan, you love, you hate, whoever it is that's big. The voice. Ben Shapiro's voice. Are you kidding me? It's terrible. I mean, what the... It's like the worst voice you could ever have to do what he does, but yet he's successful. But this is the sentiment we're talking about. Let's go back and look for another one. Okay, I don't know how that came into that. He's just talking about people. People are talking about it being woke, right? Here's Melody saying, blah, 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 woke. So it's definitely a thing. Fans to Disney, when they criticize their woke Little Mermaid movie, you can't handle the truth. There's people discussing it, okay? Here it is. After they pulled the same shit on the Wonder Years and Little Mermaid, you never know with Hollywood. There's someone right there. Chris Brunner is saying, look here. There they are. It's woke. Okay? It's just, I hate talking about it. Look, you guys aren't even interested. We're losing viewers by the second. but that's the truth. That's the truth. Omega Swipe. We didn't need a live action. We needed something cool. Yeah, I mean, but aren't we? We're out of ideas. They're going to do a live action How to Train Your Dragon. Hollywood's like, let's just do this. I mean, they don't have as many ideas as you would wish they had. That's why so many movies feel like a respray of something else. Well, in this case, it's a direct respray. Little Mermaid, How to Train Your Dragon, Lion King. These remakes, there's not even anything new about it, right? One possible new song or one slightly altered scene. But that's why people are going to see movies like Megan, even though it's not really original, right? Child's Play. Look at Cocaine Bear. We've seen way better goof, schlock, horror films before. Megan's better. Or look at Lake Placid, as I talked about on the stream before. Lake Placid's way better than Cocaine Bear. And it's similar, right? And then you look at, films like that. People want to watch that. So that feels original, even though they're not. It's more original than a remake of, as you know, the live action movie that we already saw in animated. Barry Keoghan would be great in how... We know what I said, though, Omega Swiper. What do we not want to see from Barry Keoghan? We want to see Barry Keoghan ease up on being weird. Just dial the weirdness from an 11 to a 9. When he's sitting there and he's like doing the ticks, he's like, I've been on this island. I've been on Inisharan for a long time, and I really think you're here. It's like, dude, just fucking settle down. Just sit back and just do a little bit more with the eyes and a little less with the movement. You guys know you've seen it. You've seen it from Barry Keoghan. He's even doing it in Joker. He's like, hey, I'm Joker. It's like, dude, one of the reasons that Joaquin Phoenix is so good as Joker is he's grounded. He's just enough ampage and without being too eccentric to make it work. Barry Keoghan, you need to watch Joaquin Phoenix. Take it down a notch or two. Take it down. Just dial it back. Give me a thumbs up. I'm the only person who's ever said that about Barry Keoghan, by the way. I want credit for that. A live action Toy Story. Can you? What would be the point? They're all. Sure that'd be a pain in the ass to make. Can you imagine a live action Toy Story shot stop motion animation? Oh, you couldn't pay me. They could offer me, here's $50 million, Eric. You're going to make this movie. I'd be like, there's no way in hell I'm making that movie. I am not going to sit there and even Del Toro for Pinocchio. That's too much work. I got to admit, I'm kind of lazy. And not at the gym. Gora knows this. Chris Gore knows I'm lazy at so many things, but not the gym. Everything else, I'm super lazy. People always say, he always goes, your thumbs are lazy. I mean, yeah, my thumbnails are super lazy. I could at least try, but this is just why I'm like, we do the show. You either like it or you don't. The thumbnails aren't going to, it is what it is. Pietro, welcome to the channel. Pietro Mazza. Hey, straight from Italy. It just sounds like, hey, I got to wear an Italian kit next time for you. Blanchett has stronger awards, I think, but the hype the ceremony is given to Yo, yes, and incredible power of everything everywhere that's on this just tear has been very tough to rival, incredibly intense. It's going to be 51-49. I got Yo over Blanchett. It will not be a win that I celebrate. Not because, listen, as I say that, someone will edit it there. Let me explain. I told you for one more time for everybody. It's not that I don't think Michelle Yeoh is great, and she is the best thing in Everything Everywhere. By far. Jamie Lee early on is very good, and then the film obviously just goes to hell on the second half. The final act is okay. You know how I feel. But Michelle, you're really great in this film. But unfortunately, you ran into a buzzsaw this year in Cate Blanchett that is a once-in-a-decade performance, maybe multiple-decade performance, and therefore, unfortunately, I know it sounds like it's your time, but in the interest of merit, how we select everything, it's going to have to be Cate Blanchett, but Michelle, you're great. We love you, but you're not going to win. That's how my world works. Unfortunately, it's not working like that. And it's not really unfortunate, right? Because I'm happy for Michelle Yeoh. You understand what I'm saying. I like seeing Michelle Yeoh win, but the truth is Blanchett deserves it more. That's it. Pilgrim Media, welcome back. Hail Eric doing the voodoo. I know it is. We do get on here and kind of just like conjure shit up. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, whatever. It's MMT. It's what we created. And you guys are a big, big, big part of obviously what happens here. A few more minutes, we're going to wrap here on this Sunday night. I watched Tar on Peacock. Hard to get through. Everything Ever, much better, and feel Yo should win. Geeky Lawrence, welcome to the channel. Listen, I will always throw an opinion up that is contrarian to what I believe. I just told you, I think Tar's my number one film of the year, and Blanchett is the best actress by far. So that combination makes it hard for me to, admit that EEAO is going to win all these things. It makes me kind of sad because I believe that Tar's the best film and Blanchett's the best performance. That said, I understand you're not alone. A lot of people feel how you feel about this film. So, I mean, look, to show you how far I've come, okay, what have you just look behind me. Did you notice some boxes have moved? Does anyone notice what is now? There's two new things. There's a new film up there that none of you have even noticed. And the other one has been moved. Can you guys find the boxes that have moved places here on the MMT walls? One is new and one is moved. Because at this point, it's inevitable. This film is very likely going to win Best Picture. So I figured I have to push it and move it. Do you see it? You have 5 seconds to point it out. Otherwise, I'm going to do it. 5 seconds to tell me what box has been moved and what box is new. Everything Everywhere. Yes, correct. French Dispatch is not new. It's always been there. It's always been there. Yes, EA is right there. Do you see the new film? I found this box. I go, how the hell did I not have this up here? This box is insane. The fact it's hard to see the box. It's right over my shoulder, but it has so much going on that it's like, you're going to have to zoom in, but it's in very prime position here because the box is insane. And I forgot the fact that Disney pushed this film for FYC. Yep. Guardians 2. Mark, Guardians 2. But everything else is the same. Nothing else has moved. Exactly. Blade Runner's always been there. Dune moved. I slid Dune over and I pushed Everything Everywhere out to the front because it's going to end up winning Best Picture. We have to highlight it. But Guardians 2, that box is insane. That's an FYC screener. And by the way, yeah, Mark saw it. By the way, who's always going to be looking out underneath my shoulder? Yes, Wonder Woman herself in the worst comic book movie of all time, Wonder Woman 84. Oh my God, what a terrible film. A few more minutes. 5-minute warning on this Sunday night. 5 minutes. No, actually, you know what? No. I'm not doing it. We're going to do a 10-minute warning. We're going to bleed into the 9 o'clock hour because that's when the stream starts. I need to still be going. as the 9 o'clock hour goes so that we roll right into it. So you have 10 minutes to get your things in and then we're done. It's over. We've talked about this. My favorite is Everything Everywhere. I know you like it, Alan. I know you do. Blanchett's performance is technically superior. There, exactly. Thank you. Alan, this is why Alan Ng is a wonderful man. Go follow the Film Threat channel. Good friend Alan Ng, along with Chris Gore, everybody at Film Threat. Go check him out. And this is why he's great, because he is objective. That is why Alan Ng rocks. The Killer by David Fincher. Yes, unfortunately, though, The Killer is a Netflix film. And until Netflix gets a theatrical component, we're not discussing Netflix films, which is going to be so hard. Please, for the love of God, Netflix, please, I beseech you to get theatrical in place when The Killer comes out. I can't imagine not talking about it. That will suck ass. If I had to come on here and avoid talking about The Killer, listen, one of my favorite directors. I mean, whose isn't David Fincher? Social Network, perfect film. Gone Girl, not a perfect film. Why? What are my problems with Gone Girl? Doogie Howser. You can't have Neil Patrick Harris in that role. It is the bad casting. We talked about bad casting earlier with Ironheart. We talked about bad casting now with this. Bad casting in Namor, of course. Bad casting is always going to be a problem, and Neil Patrick Harris is never going to work in the role that he was in Gone Girl. Give me a thumb. Anyone want to argue that? Let's do that because we stole on. If you want to argue that Neil Patrick Harris worked in Gone Girl, jump in, you come straight up. Because there's no way in hell you can tell me it worked. As soon as you say that's Neil Patrick Harris, knowing what you know about Neil, okay, let's just pull the lid off. Let's rip the scab off. Let's rip it off. Let's rip the bandage off and the scab. Here it is. You ready? This is going to be very tough, and a lot of you are not going to like what I'm going to say, but I'm going to say it. It is very difficult, and this is precisely why the majority of actors who are, and I know there's a lot more than what we know. If you are out in Hollywood, it's hard for the average person to then see you as straight. Give me a thumbs up if you understand what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm telling you that once you know that an actor is gay off screen, to put him as a love interest in a heterosexual story is difficult for a lot of people to take. Now, in this case for Gone Girl, I don't believe that's the issue. The issue is, for me, is that role needs to be more of a hunky guy. Neil Patrick Harris is a lot of things. I think he's hellaciously entertaining and and certainly absolutely talented. But he's not the right guy for that role. It's the wrong casting job. He kind of works. I don't say it's bad. It doesn't not work. It's not the right. You want to nail it. When you do casting, you want to nail it. And a great example of casting is Star-Lord. Chris Pratt as Star-Lord. When you are trying to cast a character, Robert Downey Jr., Iron Man, but we use Chris Pratt because everyone talks about Robert Downey Jr. Chris Pratt is Star-Lord. If that is given to another actor, that film does not work as intended. That's why casting is everything. And I'm telling you that if I were to redo Gone Girl, first of all, I don't love the story. I don't like the whole fact that she's still alive. As soon as that happens, because I wasn't familiar with the book, I go, this movie sucks. I hate the twist. The twist does not work for me at all. I love Ben Affleck being accused of killing his wife. But once we find out she's alive and she's living off the grid, that whole movie goes sideways. But I'm telling you right now, Neil Patrick Harris does not work in that role. Who could be Star-Lord? Did I miss it? That's it. He kind of works. No, he's great in How I Met Your Mother. But I feel like that's not the right guy. But you guys know what I'm saying, right? Let's just imagine, okay? So there's been a lot of discussion over the years that Tom Cruise is gay. Listen, let's just talk. Let's just be honest. That's what the show is. There's been discussion that Tom Cruise is gay. Okay? No one cares. I don't care if he's gay. But the point is Tom Cruise has never come out as gay. I don't know if he is. No, I'm not suggesting he is. But let's play devil's advocate. Let's assume maybe he is. In Hollywood, it's difficult. And I know that studio heads would say this. I'm just saying the open truth, that what's being said behind the doors. That if Tom Cruise was openly gay, it would be harder for a lot of people to accept him in the role of heterosexual love story, right? Like we just saw in Top Gun Maverick. You guys know I'm right. I mean, I'm right. I'm just saying the inconvenient, uncomfortable truths, right? That's the truth. So that's what we do here. We don't talk about woke or this or that. We just say what reality is. And the reality is, if you are gay in real life, it's harder to place you in that heterosexual relationship. That's, tell me I'm right. Tell me, if you want to argue me, come in right now. If someone wants to say I'm wrong, come in and tell me why I'm wrong. I don't want to do this. I can't do. I love Tom Cruise. I don't care if dude is trisexual. God knows what that is. Pansexual. Whatever. I don't care what sexual you are. I don't give a crap if you're gay or straight. How many times have I said this? And Gore will absolutely tell you. Where do I love to hang out more than anywhere? West Hollywood. I love Mickey's in West Hollywood. We will one day have a meetup at Mickey's in West Hollywood. It is the center of the gay capital of the universe. So if you're suggesting I have an issue with anything gay, my God, are you wrong? Gore would, if he were here right now, he'd be like, yeah, he'll try anything. Trisexual, that's good. I'm trisexual. I'll try anything. That's actually, we coined it here tonight. We can't do any more talking about. I'm gonna get canceled over this, but I'm not. You just watch the whole stream, you'd see what I said. Where's Elizabeth Banks' astonishing shot? And I don't know. I love that you superhero movies changed your YouTube handle so that I would have to read Elizabeth Banks is hot, but she's a shockingly bad director. I am dying here that is the name that you chose for tonight. That is funny. I would agree. The show's nothing if I'm not honest. She's super hot. And she's also not really a remarkable director. At least what you watch in Cocaine Bear. I never watched Pitch Perfect 2. What was the other one she directed? I don't know. I'm just judging everything that I just saw in Cocaine Bear. There is nothing in Cocaine Bear that tells me this is a highly skilled director. I said when I gave you my review, this is a directed film. It's directed. That's it. Not good or bad. It's just directed. It's 100% directed. Don't you all start changing your names because now I have to read your name when you put it in there or something like that? That was good, though. That was really good. Number one, her use of score is at times utterly okay, here it is. I couldn't agree more. Sometimes it doesn't even fit the scene. Oh my God, 1000%. You've got the 80s score mixed with something else. There's score when you don't need score. I can't stand that. I think it's a bad crutch. It tells me as a director, you're not confident in your film. You need the score to tell you. Any film that's overscored is instantly 1 point lower for me. Right off the bat. You can't have too much score, and especially a generic score. And Cocaine Bear is guilty of that for sure. On top of that, there's moments where she doesn't crescendo the music into the scene. I say it again, and I think there's really nothing more to say. She is not showing me anything as a director that, listen, as a studio head, after watching Cocaine Bear, I told you in my review, I would not release the film. I wouldn't even put this out. It's a bad film. It's a poorly directed film. The screenplay's not funny. There's nothing good about Cocaine Bear except the fact that you want it to be good because it's about a bear who snorts cocaine and goes on a rampage. That sounds amazing. That sounds like the kind of movie I'm down for. We're all down for, right? A Sharknado, a Lake Placid. The problem is the movie, when you watch it, is horrible. Everything about it is bad. So, including the direction. That's the truth. It doesn't matter that Elizabeth Banks is a woman. The direction's bad. Do you see? We're not saying it's bad because she's a woman. We're saying it's bad, period. The direction is poor. So, your name here tonight, I mean, is it mean? I don't know. Whatever. Screw mean and nice. John, score was too modernized for the setting. Agreed. Right? You got the 80s score, and then you have a modern weird. Who scored this? Let me look. Thank you for reminding me. I am going to look right now who scored this film, because I swear to God, it's so uneven. Are there multiple people scoring this film? These are the discussions I love, by the way. I said I was going to get off the stream, and then we start talking. No, how would? Hey, this is perfect. How would I rate Cocaine Bear? I can tell you right now, 1. That's my. Thank you for popping up. How fortuitous the timing. 1. All right, who did the score? Here it is. Let's look. I think it's got to be multiple people. It's a schizophrenic score. Who did the score? Here we go. Let's go. Score, produce, music by Mark Mothersbaugh. I don't know who this is. Let's see what else he's done. I've never heard of Mark Mothersbaugh. I am a score guy. I've never heard of this guy. Let's see what he's done. Okay. Composer, Cocaine Bear, a bunch of TV series. Nothing big. There's nothing significant here that I see that he did. It just looks like this guy. Here's the thing, too. He just cranks scores out. That's not good. You don't want to see someone with this many scores. You can't. What did we just say at the top of the show? What did we say about doing MMT every night? You guys are like, this show sucks. My quality of the show would get worse. I mean, many of you would already say the show's terrible. So imagine it being even worse than it is. So the problem is Mark Mothersbaugh is doing too many scores. Look at all these scores. How do you come out with quality when you're cranking something out every week? You can't. There's no way. In fact, if we listen to all these scores, I guarantee we just find some random things thrown together. It wouldn't even be anything that you'd pay attention to, because there's too much work. You can't do this much work and be good. Anyone at what you do. I don't care what it is. If you're an NBA player and you play back-to-back games every single day, they can't do it. As a composer, you sure as hell can't compose 50 things in a year. I'm obviously over-exaggerating. But that's the problem. It's not a good score. It's definitely not. Did he do Life Aquatic? It's not good. It has dead energy. Thank you. We could hammer. Let's just continue hammering as long as you guys are into hammering Cocaine Bear. I am 100% with you. Cocaine Bear has dead energy laced into the film. There's literally nothing there. It is a film full of pacing disaster. It's constantly, you're just going, my God, what is going to happen next? And can you just make it happen? Great example. There's so many scenes. That ambulance scene. The ambulance scene in Cocaine Bear, now that you guys have seen it, is so bad. And I don't know who the actor is. Who's the guy who's kind of the goofy looking dude? You know, he had the viral thing saying Cocaine Bear is great because you don't have to watch anything else. Just going. Okay, so he's in the scene and he's doing his thing. And then the other girl's in there and they drive off. And then remember when, oh my God, Aldenreich, how do you say his name? Whatever Solo. When that bear is on top of him, right? Remember? This is how bad Cocaine Bear is. Thank you for reminding me of this. During Cocaine Bear, you've got Alden smashed by said Cocaine Bear, right? He's underneath Cocaine Bear who's passed out. What does Alden say when someone says he, and he goes, it's a she? And Alden's next line is, its vagina is on my face. That is one of the worst lines in cinematic history because his face is buried underneath the bear's neck. How the fuck is his face now in the bear's vagina? No, you know what? We have officially established the worst line of dialogue ever written in film. It is Aldenreich, Solo guy, whatever you say his name, saying that the bear's vagina is in his face when the bear is clearly on top of its head. It's the same direction he is. He's not flipped 180. What a shitty line. Now I'm angry, guys. God damn it. Why did I have to continue the stream? That line's terrible. Fucking atrocious. Embarrassing. That film's embarrassing for everybody involved. I don't care if it's not nice. It's a terrible film. It's brutally bad. I would never release Cocaine Bear. You couldn't, if I was a studio head, I would bury that film deeper than Batgirl. I would take Cocaine Bear and I would shove it somewhere where they could never find it. It would be Hoffa'd. We would Hoffa the shit out of Cocaine Bear. It's an idea that sounds glorious on paper until you watch the film and you go, this is shit. Everything in this movie is crap. Alan, I know, right? The bear does coke. That's all you need. That's what they thought when they made the film. I gotta help me out, guys. I'm out of bad words. Atrocious, horrible, terrible, abysmal, shit, garbage, dumpster fire. It's all of these things. It's so bad. You've got a huge brown furred bear that is involved with cocaine throughout the movie. That's it. Where's the one astonishing? There's not one. There's not one. The bear disappears for large portions of the movie. Do you know why? Because the CG costs money, and they're like, we can save money by having the bear just pop up from time to time. And we get stuck with these shit-written characters issuing lines like, the bear's vagina's on my face, when it's clearly not on his face. Does that bear have the biggest vagina in the history of all vaginas? This is what happens when you stay on the stream too long. You say shit like that. We're left to assume that the bear in Cocaine Bear, who is a mom, which we find out later, has the largest vagina, has a bigger vagina. It's going to get clipped, and this bear has a giant vagina. Sorry, that's the truth. It's what it has to be. The vagina has to take up 7/8 of the bear for it to be on Alden Solo's face. What a shitty thing. You want more time? Fine, I'll do it one more time. Since we're still here, and it's now 9 o'clock. For all of you who just joined the stream, you're all like, hey, Midnight Movie Talks. Yeah, we've been doing it for almost 2 hours now. Let's go to 2 hours tonight, and that's it. We're going to go another 12 minutes, and we're done. Those of you who just joined me, you can go back and watch again. Or I'll do like the shortest. I'll go through the topics really fast and nail like my bullet points at the end. That's what we'll do as we wrap. Okay, let's go and let's play it one more time and get the headphones out. Here comes our good friend David Wayne, who by the way, I gotta admit, I've never watched one of his films. I know he's had a few like cult classics and things that people like. I haven't watched it, but I don't care. It doesn't matter if I liked his film. The problem is, here it is. The problem is that this is our shill of the week. Let's pull it up one more time. Here's the shill of the week, everybody. For those of you just joining us, you're like, well, I tuned in for the shill of the week. Well, here it comes, the shill of the week. My voice is fucking gone. Here we go. Here it is. One more time from the top. There we go. One more time. After everything we just said, okay, remember, everything we just said about Cocaine Bear, that it is between the dialogue, the direction, the score, the performances, one of, if not the worst films that we've seen in a theater in quite some time, other than Magic Mike 3. This is a truly abysmal film on all fronts, but not according to David Wayne, who, by the way, listen halfway through this. We're going to find out why David likes it. But let's listen to it one more time, and then I'll try not to laugh. Here we go. David Wayne, his 1-minute review of Cocaine Bear.
Cocaine Bear is a total home run. I'm sure you probably already know, but this is a new movie in theaters inspired by a true story about a bear that gets into a bunch of cocaine and goes on a big rampage in 1985. The premise alone would make this a hit, but it's the execution that makes it so special. This is the kind of movie I wish we had more of. It's a wholly original premise, wholly original tone, and it's executed masterfully by this incredible cast, which includes bonus 3 of the stars of The Americans, and it's by a team of filmmakers led by the unstoppable force known as Elizabeth Banks, who, full disclosure and brag, is a personal friend.
There it is. That's what we were waiting for. Full disclosure. She's a personal friend. She's my favorite person on the planet. But that means nothing when I talk about reviewing her film. It doesn't play at all into it.
Directed the movie, and she produced it along with Max Hamilton and Lord Miller and others. She has a muscular and disciplined and confident and creative approach to all of the aspects.
It's none of those things, David. God damn it. It's none of those things, David. This film isn't one of the things you just said, but yet you just gave us 4 things it's not. 4 things that Cocaine Bear is not. One more time.
And creative approach to all of the muscular, and she has a muscular and disciplined and confident and creative.
Muscular, disciplined, confident, and creative. None of these things apply to Cocaine Bear. Let's finish it, and then I can't do it.
Approach to all of the aspects of the filmmaking, the shots, the pacing, the
Shots are
sound, the
terrible.
VFX,
Pacing's
the music by
horrific.
Mark Mothersbaugh. Oh my God. And this
Mark
is an action
Mothersbaugh's
movie
score
that's
is
an hour
not
and a
great.
half. Oh, thank God. Most movies I see, whether I like them or not, I think you can take a half hour out of it. This one is just exactly right. 95 minutes. That's what you want. Anyway, it's going to be a big hit.
Movie, that's for sure.
Even without the David Wayne social media machine behind it. But I just wanted to say, for the record.
Did he just say his social media machine? Well, I'll tell you what, if this is what describes machinery, then I feel bad for the actual contraption. Whatever the hell that means. Okay, we're gonna go another less than 10 minutes, everybody. Get in here, but that was so bad. It's not discipline. No, I mean, that's the thing. Elizabeth Banks is hot, but she's a shockingly bad director. I mean, it's none of those things. It's not even close to being any of those things. That's the thing that drives me crazy. When someone comes out of Cocaine Bear and we have to listen to that, and you watch Cocaine Bear and it's the antithesis of everything that he just said, you're like, give me a fucking break, dude. Physique critique on Mama Bear. She I don't know. I didn't see much of Bear in the film because they were saving money on the actual CG. That was the most expensive part. All right, Malcolm, is that not just hilarious? That dude, that's why he's our show of the week. I mean, I'm not going to say these things. I'm just going to pop them up because they are comments. If they try to cancel me for this, if people coming after me about you're saying Elizabeth Banks does not demonstrate anything remarkable in direction in this film. And I will stand by that 120%. I will not move off of that position. Okay? I will not budge at all. There is a 0% chance I will budge off of me saying that in this film we see zero things that point to Elizabeth Banks being a talented director. We see a director who brought a movie to us. We do not see anything in this film that makes it or warrants anything beyond saying this is someone who can direct a film. If I were assembling a list of 20 directors to direct my next film, she would not be on it. But you know who would, for everyone who's like, Weber is against female directors. You know who would be on that list? Charlotte Wells. You know who else would be on that list? I can tell you right now is Rose Glass. You know who else would be on the list? Is Women Talking. I'm honest to God drawing a blank, but doing the stream for 2 hours. When you look at these female directors, we are talking about true talent. Chloe Zhao. There's plenty more. I just gave 4 that I love. Okay, so it's not the fact Elizabeth Banks is a woman. It's the fact that the direction is less than TV movie. Maybe Greta Gerwig is a far more talent. Greta Gerwig, that's why I'm excited for Barbie, because Greta Gerwig shows that she knows what she's doing in Lady Bird. She shows she's been around. She's going out with a hell of a director in Noah Baumbach. She knows what she's doing. It's an E, not a U, by the way. But it's fine. It's fine. Someone's going to... I just want... When someone comes on and goes, well, you didn't spell her name right. That's how people attack now, right? They don't attack the actual message. They go, you didn't spell her name right. Elizabeth Banks is not an impressive... Oh, my God. Oh, thank you, Life of Bry. Olivia Wilde. Don't worry, darling. I was the only person singing the praises of Olivia Wilde. So if anyone wants to try to cancel me over a female director, go F yourself and go back and watch the entire stream about Don't Worry, Darling. And me saying that this is, if this were by any other director, you guys would be praising the film. Don't Worry, Darling is a very well-directed film. So yes, add Olivia Wilde to the list. Wilde, Glass, and Gerwig, and Charlotte Wells, and what's her name? God almighty, Sarah Polley. All of these. But not Elizabeth Banks. She's not part of that club. Thank you, Goober. She's not part of the club. The club is not just about being a woman. The club is only for women directors who show me some shit. And all the directors I just talked about, all the directors, Wilde, Gerwig, Wells, Glass, all of these have shown me, Polly, have shown me they are hellaciously skilled directors. Elizabeth Banks, no. You're not on the list. Not happening. Oh, Sofia Coppola, 100%. Absolutely. Hurt Locker. God, come on, help me. It's behind me. Hurt Locker's right behind me. I'm going to get it. Catherine Bigelow. See, it's there. So, oh, look, you hate female movies so much you have Zero Dark 30 up there, along with After Sun, and many, many other movies that are directed by women up here. To my knowledge, I think. First Cow, directed by a woman. You guys can't see it. It's down there. First Cow. Promising Young Woman. Hustlers. Oh my God, the wall's littered with all kinds of movies directed by women. So don't come at me with that shit. But they do. That's what they want to do. She is hot. I mean, there's no question. She's hot. All right, we have less than 5 minutes. I mean, listen. Elizabeth Banks is hot, but she's also a shockingly bad director. Listen, here's the guys. You got to understand how we operate here. We are truth-based. We are unbiased, and we are going to be objective. And everything that we've said about Elizabeth Banks as a director is 100% objective and 100% true. She is not at the level of any of the directors that we just mentioned. Nowhere near Olivia Wilde. Nowhere near. I mean, you can't even put them in the same. If this were a boxing match, we talk about that all the time. Olivia Wilde versus Elizabeth Banks in the ring. Wham! Olivia Wilde just like right hook. It's over. The match is done. It's over. Olivia Wilde, you're the winner. It's over. That's it. I mean, it's not even close. I don't know. We can't do any. We can't do Boys Don't Cry. There's so many. I did hate Obvious Child. I hated Obvious Child. I walked out. Ken, I don't know if you. I wish you remembered me walking out. We were in Boston, and I was watching Obvious Child with Jenny Slate, and I go, this movie is not what I want to watch. I am not in the mood for this. It's not funny. I don't want to watch it. And I just said, I'm out of here. I hate Obvious Child. I didn't review it because I don't review films I walk out of, but I did walk out. Eternals, Chloe Zhao. Nomadland. The writer. Don't come at me and say I hate women. I know you're not. I know you're not, Ken. I know you're making fun, but that's what I'm just saying. The people who do that. Look at you. You're hammering all women, and then they don't know what to do when you list off all these other films. That's the beauty of having the resume I have. As soon as you try to attack here, you go, nope, that is off-put. You can't because he loved Don't Worry, Darling and said that Olivia Wilde deserves way more credit for directing that film. So you can't all of a sudden turn it and say he hates women. You have to just say, then you know what it turns into? It turns into he's mean. He's mean about Elizabeth Banks. No. Well, maybe it is mean, but it's also truthful. We are never going to hide behind the veil of being mean or unmean or mismean or dismean by being untruthful and lying and saying the right thing. We are going to say what's true. And you guys can come on here in the comments and say, I suck. And it's fine. I might agree with you at certain segments. In fact, a lot of things here suck. Most things suck. I don't mind. But I also am not going to go cry about it. If someone got on and said, you know what? Because I'd say, I know what so for Elizabeth Banks, if someone sends this to her and says, here's what I will say. Everything we said is accurate, 100%. Get better at what you do. That's my advice. Get better. If I came on this stream, okay, we've been doing this now for not a year, but almost. We're coming up on the 1 year anniversary. And by the way, 1 year anniversary, we are going to give shit away because 1 year is a big deal. FYC stuff's getting out of here. I'm going to literally hold up things and we're going to put the bidding out. And all the money is going to go to, okay, when we do this, all the money that we raise is going to charity. So if I say super chat, $5 for this book, and then it'll get shipped to you. We're going to celebrate that way, but that's not yet. But what I will say is that when we do these things, it's always about truth. And that's what we are going to do forever and a day going forward. We have never held back. And I wouldn't mind if you guys come on and say, I'm terrible. This wasn't good. There's times we do this show that it's not good. I think overall, I'm okay at what I do. Decent enough. But if there's critiques, I'm certainly open to listen to them. I mean, there's times you guys have come on and said, you're too hard about someone who likes The Whale. You're right. I am. I'm too hard about people who like Cocaine Bear. That's for sure. Cocaine Bear's, I can't do it. We're not doing it again. But that's how I feel. You know, I for full disclosure, there was a story going around. I guess Dan Murrell, who is a member of HCA. I've never met the guy. I've seen him out and about. I know he's a big YouTube guy. He said somebody got up at his screening and was pissed off about Cocaine Bear and quote hectoring the audience. That was me. I'm not going to lie to you. That was me. I was furious. Now, the movie was over. There was nothing more to add. It wasn't like I stood up like that Soups kid. He's coming up for Shill of the Week, by the way. That's going to be epic. Maybe next week we'll do Soup. I didn't come on. I didn't stand up in the middle of the movie like Soups and go, yeah, in the middle of the movie, right? And make it all about him, have someone film it. I didn't film myself getting out of my seat at the end of Cocaine Bear and going, that movie's a piece of shit. Screw this movie. I looked up at Gore, who was about, 7 rows up. I was down on the bottom. And I looked at him and I go, if you like that movie, I will fight you at the top of the stairs of the Burbank 16 right now. We will wage war. Because I hate that movie. I hated Cocaine Bear because it's terrible. It's abysmal. It's not even a 2. You're too kind. It's a 1. It's a 1 out of 10. A 1 out of 10. This is like an episode of Cocaine's. I know. I'm sorry. I had to say it. All right, we're coming up on the end of the show. I said we would go up until the midnight movie talk. We traditionally are on at 9 o'clock. So now we're into it. We've been doing 2 hours. It's a very long stream. We're not doing a 3-hour stream. I don't care what you guys try to do. No way in hell am I doing a 3-hour stream. Because first of all, I did it again today. Last week, I told you I did fasting. I ate my breakfast, and I haven't eaten a single thing all day. The next time I'm going to eat something is going to be tomorrow morning. Now, those of you who are saying, why are you doing that? You're already skinny. Yes, this is true. I'm not a huge dude, but I do it because I've heard fasting, and I felt it last week, is good to shock your body into like a different state where it starts to go, wait a second, it starts to repair itself in different ways because it's not getting the food. So it kind of puts the plugs in differently. That's why I try. So I'm operating on 0 food since like 7:30 today when I woke up and started tweeting about box office. And I was like, oh God, every Sunday morning, this is me in my bed going, okay, what happened in the box office? Let's send some stuff out. Let's start thinking about tonight's show. What's the headline? And then it's like, here we go. For those of you who are just tuning in, since you're just tuning in, let's do the show. This is the super speed version of the show. You guys ready? Here it is. Welcome to Midnight Movie. Let's try that again. On 3. It's coming out in 3, 2, and 1. Welcome to Midnight Movie Talk. We are live from Los Angeles. Tonight's top story is what happened to Ant-Man 3, not 2. That's wrong. Here's what happened. Number 1, we had epic rainfall in LA. It kept people away from theaters. Number 2, bad word of mouth. This film has a B cinema score. It did not do it any favors in weekend number 2. Number 3, MCU fatigue is real. People are tired of the Marvel universe. It's too much. There's too many shows, too many movies. Give us a break. Number 4, there is a war against woke. A lot of people out there are not happy about the woke element, quote unquote, that Disney is putting out there, and therefore they are withholding their cash from Disney products. Number 5, cocaine come down. Cocaine Bear outperformed because it got crazy high this weekend with $24 million opening, which was way above estimates. Jesus Revolution outperformed at 15.5. Theatrical's in a really good space. SAG Awards. Our winners for Oscar look like this. Best Picture, Everything Everywhere All at Once. Best Actress, Michelle Yeoh. Best Actor, Brendan Fraser. Best Supporting Actor, Quan. And Best Supporting Actress, I'm sticking with Angela Bassett. And that's how we look for the Oscars race, along with PGA, which was won by EEAO. Our show of the week this week was the guy who said Elizabeth Banks has a muscular directorial effort. Did mediocre movies save movies? No, they did not. Movies that were theatrical only save movies. And then tonight's shirt is Blackburn Rovers, the away, matching the background. The lightning version of MMT. Oh my God, my brain is freaking fried, you guys. That was everything in probably like a minute. So please give me a like for that. Listen, the truth is, I appreciate the fact that you say make it look easy. The truth is that you know what you do. It's like everything in life, and I'll leave you with this. Here's what it is. Everything in life, including the show and anything that you do, the way that you succeed is that you just do it. You do not think about it. You just go. You jump over the cliff and you go, let's go. And that's what the show is. Are there things on here that I say that are probably like too far this way or that way? Probably. But I think ultimately, I'm right. So anything that was said during the show, you might have an issue with fundamentally, but then when you really think about it, you're like, but yet it's kind of, makes sense. It's what the truth is at the end of the day. That's what we try to do here. So my advice to you as you go forward, we'll see you back here Thursday for MMT when we talk about Creed 3. I can't wait for Thursday night show because I'm going to go see it again and then we're going to be able to delve into this film. If you missed my initial thoughts on Creed 3, it's available to you. Go back and look at the videos. The night I came out of that, we did a stream. No spoilers involved, but I'm very high on this film. I think it's better than 2. Not as good as 1, but it's better than 2. So it goes Creed 1, Creed 3, and then Creed 2. Creed 3 is very strong. Jonathan Majors is amazing in it. He should be an awards contender. I'm not kidding you on that. Okay, we'll talk about that Thursday. But as I leave you here tonight, go forth and go just get out there and do it. Do not hold back. Do not restrain yourself. Just go unencumbered into the world and go into attack mode. Not in a bad way. In a good way. Go attack. I am not going to go attack any food for the next 12 hours. I'm going to be like, I am so hungry. I'm going to get through this, guys. The fasting 1 day a week, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to try it one more time. I think this is the last time I do it. That is it. Live from Los Angeles, Eric Weber is out on this Sunday. Thank you for being here. See you Thursday night here on MMT. Until then, good